Greetings, YouTube. A study was done recently. Researchers posing as 17-year-old girls called pharmacies in an attempt to get access to the morning after pill. 20% of them, 1 out of 5, was prevented from gaining access to this drug. Now there's an old saying, do not ascribe to malice what can be explained by ignorance. So let's assume that the pharmacists in question didn't know that it was an over-counter drug that you don't need a prescription for and that a 17-year-old girl can legally access. Maybe they really didn't know. Alright, that makes them really bad pharmacists. Because that's their job. That's their only job. To understand the medications that they dispense, who can access them, and how they might interact with each other in the event a patient is getting medications from, say, multiple doctors. That's what they do for a gig. And if you can't do that, either get some training or go find a new job. Now, the other option, the reason these pharmacists didn't let these girls access the morning after pill, and they were told that in many cases it was impossible to get, or you had to have a prescription, or 17-year-olds couldn't access it, is, seeing as this is America, the land of the home, the free, and the religiously right, is that they didn't want 17-year-old girls to have access to this medication. Now, it's very important for everyone to understand that this is not some form of chemical abortion. This is an emergency contraceptive pill to be used within the first 72 hours of an unintended sexual encounter that maybe a condom broke, or it was a date rape, or you just don't know what happened and you want to be on the safe side. That's what you use. This is a large dose of hormones, I believe estrogen, I'm not positive which hormone, that helps to block the semen from getting to the eggs and fertilizing them. So this completely circumvents the whole anti-choice crowds. It's a sacred life at conception. Conception hasn't started here, so there is no reason for anyone else to get upset about this. But there are people in America, which stuns me in the 21st century, that are opposed out and out to birth control at all. I wish these folks would pick up their bags and move back to the 17th century, because frankly, we don't need them. So 1 out of 5 pharmacists is either ignorant or they lied about it because they have a socially conservative agenda they're forcing onto others. In either case, this is disturbing. But in the article, there's also more information that I found equally depressing and disturbing. There are 750,000 teen pregnancies in America per year. Okay? Now that's horrible. But what's worse is this. 85% of them are unintended. Okay? Now those two facts are an indictment of the American education system. I think every school administrator in the entire country that is in charge of any student that gets pregnant like this should be fired and replaced by someone that actually is going to be step forward and educate children to make sure that these kids, these teenagers, know how to engage in sex in a safe way. But the most horrible thing about this to me is that 15% of those pregnancies were intentional. No teenager should be having babies, folks. That's a point in your life where you're still trying to figure out who you are. You should not be thrust into the position of being a parent, or worse, foisting that responsibility off onto the grandparents, which I've seen before, many times before. I work with women who they themselves were teen mothers, their children have become teen mothers. I have seen this generationally. Multiple generations of people who are teen mothers, because our education system is failing miserably, and obviously they're not learning their lesson. When one girl in a family becomes a teen mother, you'd think that the other girls in the family would learn something from this. You would be wrong. So I'm going to link to this article. Go give it a read. It's informative, but boy, is it darn depressing.